Hi, I'm Veronique and welcome to this tutorial on Sirsasana Headstand with cow face legs. So a little bit of a twist to our headstand. We will want to be close to a wall. We will want to have blocks. If headstand is still a new practice for you, I do have a Sirsasana Headstand tutorial in my library, so maybe you go back and watch this, and then once you feel like you have a fairly strong headstand practice, come back and join me here. So we'll meet at the wall. You can have two blocks nearby. If this feels like you have this shape, I'll also play with some fun transitions into this, but we'll start at the wall so that we have that support. Bring the blocks so they are underneath your feet. So you'll have them maybe on the first or the second height, depending. You may want to have a mat by the wall, but maybe not, depending on the surface that you have. And then you'll find that traditional Sirsasana setup, taking a hold of opposite elbows, finding the interlaced fingers. Once again, never jumping up into headstand. You're going to bring the top of the head onto the ground and then cross your right knee in front of the left. You can have your knees on the ground initially and then just start to find that comfortable spot onto your head and then start to lift your knees off of the ground. You can stay here, just getting comfortable. If it's available, step your feet onto the blocks. And then just think about lifting the feet up and then setting them down. Maybe you hover the feet up and set them down. Maybe if you feel light, you lift up just enough so that you can find the wall. Make sure you don't have things hanging on the wall. I'm gonna try to find a place not touching my son. And then finding just one foot on the wall, and then you can play with breaking up with the wall a little bit. So if you have that comfortable headstand, you're holding here. And then once you're up, if you feel confident, if you feel safe, maybe you straddle the legs, and then you can bring your left leg in front of the right, finding your cow face legs on the second side. And then you can kind of helicopter the legs around a couple times, landing with your right knee back. And then it's a slow, controlled lower. You're bringing the right thigh into the chest. And then it's like you're trying to land your feet onto the blocks as lightly as you can. Maybe you step off of the blocks, release your knees onto the ground, keep your head heavy, and then releasing your hips in between your heels. You can build a little perch for your head. Sometimes I like to rock my head side to side. I'm just finding a little bit of release into the neck. So if you feel comfortable in that, I will show you some fun ways to play with this. If you want to stay at the wall, you can practice that several rounds. If you want to play with a little bit of a transition, perhaps, you find this in the center of the room. So you'll bring your mat, so I'll just adjust the mat here so you can better see. And then let's actually bring the left knee in front so we do the other side. Maybe I'll face this way. I'm trying to think of the best way to face. I think I'll face this way. Okay. Finding the opposite elbows, bring your head onto the ground and then start to lift your hips up, floating up into this variation. Coming into the cow face legs. Yeah, so if you fall down, that's okay. That happens to me sometimes. Squeezing the inner thighs together. So some things to think about is flaring your toes, squeezing the inner thighs together, activating through the glutes. And so this time, I'm going to open up through the legs. Think about helicoptering the legs around, landing with the opposite leg in front. So in this case, the right leg is in front. And then slowly begin to bring the legs into a tuck and then pause here. We're gonna uncross the knees coming into a tuck, and then bring the knees to the backs of the triceps. Bring the knees together, and then how slowly can you lower into a child's pose? And so part of what this does is it helps to just train the core to find that activation in that really slow, controlled lower. And you may find with the crisscross knees that you have something to draw into, and you might find a little bit more accessibility to slow down the tuck rise and to slow down the tuck lower. So some things to think about, some things to play. As always, think about length into the sides of the neck, releasing the shoulders away from the ears, a lightness into the head, length into the side bodies, activating through the glutes, squeezing the inner thighs together and finding that electricity through the toes. So some things to play with into your Sirsasana headstand with cow face legs. I hope you found this tutorial to be helpful. Any questions at all, please comment below. If you find this tutorial to be helpful, please go back, see my library. I have lots of tutorials available. Subscribe, like, comment, all of the things. Thank you so much for watching, and have a beautiful day.